Good morning, guys. Today I'm going to talk to you about the platypus. This is a weird animal. It is a mammal, but it is a monotreme. A monotreme is a group of animals that broke off from the evolutionary pathway from mammals, split off about 166 million years ago. And there's really only two creatures in this category. There's the platypus and there is the echidna. Now these are weird animals. First of all, as a mammal, it doesn't have live birth. It has eggs. It lays eggs. It's got some weird kind of duckbill mouth to it, and it's poisonous. So these researchers discovered a new weird fact about the duck-billed platypus. The weird fact is this: it is biofluorescent. That means that when it's hit with ultraviolet light, it actually sends out some weird colors. They discovered this by taking museum specimens that they had of various animals and shining ultraviolet light on it and seeing what kind of light bounced back. And then they discovered that they had different colored lights coming from the platypuses, so they explored it further. Platypus fur is brown, like this teddy bear. And as you can see, under visible light, it is a brown. Under ultraviolet light, this is the ultraviolet light, you can barely see. My cat's fur is orange. I can put the ultraviolet light on it and it doesn't make any change to the appearance of it. We can try that in the dark too. You always want to use safety glasses when working with ultraviolet light. It can damage your eyes. What is biofluorescence? Well, bio means life. So when we talk about biofluorescence, we're talking about fluorescence that comes from things that are alive. Fluorescence means that it's giving off a different type of light than is shined on it. Everything that we see is based on the light that is reflected back to us. So if I'm looking at something, anything in the room, the only way I'm able to see it is if light is bouncing back into my eyes. The less light's bouncing back, the darker it appears until I get to a completely dark place, and then I have almost no light reflecting into my eye. When something is fluorescent, it has molecules that absorb some of the energy from that light. When the light hits it, it holds onto that energy for just a few nanoseconds, just a small portion of the time, and then reflects it back out, re-emits it, because it's not an immediate reaction. It's a few nanoseconds later, it sends it back out, but when it sends it back out, it has lost some of that energy. So instead of coming back out at the wavelength it came in at, it comes out at a longer, lower energy wavelength. This means that the color of the light that comes out is not the color of the light that went in. Weird, right? Here is our light spectrum. Our light spectrum is actually a really broad spectrum that we call the electromagnetic spectrum. But the part that you and I are able to see is called visible light. On one end of the spectrum, we have ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light is the higher energy, shorter wavelength light. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have the infrared light. The infrared light is the light that's lower energy and longer wavelengths. We can't see in ultraviolet and we can't see infrared, but we can detect them with certain types of cameras, and certain animals are actually able to see ultraviolet light. It helps them detect predators. It helps them to hunt. When it comes to the platypus actually hunts by using its eyes closed and using electroreceptors and feeling around. It doesn't need its eyes to hunt. So we're guessing, we don't know, but we're guessing that it's using this biofluorescence in order to identify its friends, to be able to see other platypuses that are around. Now, I don't want you to mix up biofluorescence with bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is something where animals actually send out their own light. It's crazy, right? Most of the time we're seeing this with sea creatures like jellyfish or plankton that are sending out this blue glow or a green glow. In the case of bioluminescence, it's actually a chemical reaction. Those animals have bacteria in them that are doing the work, and the bacteria are using a molecule called a luciferin. The luciferin matches up with oxygen, and in the process it breaks apart a little bit, which takes a little bit of energy going in, and then it reassembles and it reattaches to that oxygen, and that emits a little bit of light and a little bit of heat. Actually, 98% of that reaction is releasing light. The rest of the reaction, about 2%, is releasing some heat. This is the opposite of your typical light bulb. Your typical light bulb that's not an LED light. Your typical incandescent filament-based light bulb is releasing 2% of light and 98% of heat, which is why they get so hot. That's it for today, guys. Check out these links to learn a little bit more about light and platypus. Have a great day.